Tonight, coming to terms with community tragedy.
It was extremely heartbreaking, devastating.
Tributes and support for young lives lost. Plus, preparing for a takeover. The drastic measures threatened by CAMI employees to keep their workplace open. And funding the future of the Boys and Girls Club.
I cannot begin to tell you how much I appreciate this place.
Local star power on hand to kick off the campaign.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the latest from Grey Bruce as a small community comes to grips with a tragic car crash. 3 young lives were lost, and as Scott Miller reports, that loss has been felt deeply.
Ann Pilon Somerville is encouraging Grey and Bruce residents to light a candle each night for the 4 teens involved in Tuesday's horrific crash near Hanover.
I work with 2 of the parents that are involved in the accident, and yeah, I couldn't imagine. As a new parent, I honest to God couldn't imagine what they're going through.
3 teens, all students at John Diefenbaker Senior School in Hanover, died after being ejected from a vehicle that police say rolled several times after leaving a rural side road between Hanover and Durham on Tuesday. The 4th teen involved survived and is listed in critical but stable condition, according to the West Grey Police, who are investigating what led to Tuesday's noon-hour crash. The crash is the 2nd such tragedy in the past 6 months involving students from Grey and Bruce County.
Well, I certainly didn't believe it because it just seemed completely unbelievable that such a tragedy would revisit the region.
This May, 4 students and a teacher from Walkerton District Community School were killed near London, returning from a school softball tournament.
As mayor, it was extremely heartbreaking, devastating. I had a lot of trouble myself getting through things because of just the huge impact on our town.
Peabody has offered whatever support he can to the communities of Hanover and West Grey, who are more directly impacted by the most recent tragedy.
It was like over 300 people last night.
For new mom Pilon Somerville, this all brings back memories of her brother's sudden death many years ago and how the community she lived in supported their family. She plans to sell special JDSS Strong candles and donate proceeds to the families of the crash victims who she knows through work. So far, hundreds of people have joined her in her nightly candlelighting for those involved in the tragedy.
Just remember and hope for the kids that were lost and the one that's still fighting.
Near Hanover, Scott Miller, CTV News.
A truck driver was killed this morning near Kitchener in a crash involving 2 transports on the 401. With more on that collision, here's Ashley Bacon.
Traffic on the early morning commute sitting at a standstill after a fatal collision on the 401 just west of Ayr, involving 2 large trucks.
Both traveling eastbound, one of which had collided with another in the rear of that commercial motor vehicle.
Ontario Provincial Police Constable Matthew Foster says the driver of that second truck behind the other one was a 26-year-old man from Brampton who died at the scene.
I'm sad to say that the driver of that CMV was pronounced deceased at scene. The driver of the other commercial motor vehicle was uninjured. Our thoughts are with the deceased family and loved ones at this time.
This was the scene along roadways parallel with the 401, many drivers taking a detour to get around the tragic scene, while the eastbound lanes were closed for the investigation. While the cause of this crash is not clear, police are reminding people in a week where a number of serious collisions have taken place that it's crucial to be aware of your surroundings.
We want to remain vigilant while traveling on the roads, that road conditions can change very quickly. Just give yourself some extra time, and we just want everyone to drive safely and get home to wherever they're going.
Meanwhile, investigators poring over the scene, collecting evidence.
And as police continue the investigation into the cause of the collision, they're asking any drivers who are passing through the area at the time for dash cam footage. Ashley Bacon, CTV News.
Provincial police say one of the people involved in a crash near Walkerton yesterday is still in hospital. The other has been released. According to OPP, the driver crashed into a tree on Highway 9 near Riversdale. Police have not said whether the driver or the passenger remains in hospital. They have said at this point no charges have been laid. Woodstock fire officials say they're investigating a fire on the city's west side. Firefighters say the flames broke out this afternoon on Bishop Park Drive. They were asking the public to avoid the area while they investigated. Details on what started the fire or whether anyone was injured have not been provided.
Good evening. We've had some gusty winds this afternoon. As we head through the evening, though, the wind's starting to ease off. Scattered showers and some mixed precipitation coming downwind of Lake Huron. So areas like Wyerton picking up some showers, Chesley, and spreading east towards Toronto in and around Etobicoke, Markham, and the GTA seeing some rain showers. Again, this is all lake enhanced. We picked up a fair amount of sunshine in London, although the cloud cover looking quite threatening at times through the day. We escaped most of the rainfall. In areas towards the southwest, it was full sunshine. As we head through the evening, temperatures start to dip down, getting quite cool. As we edge toward midnight, we're down to the freezing mark, but winds easing off out of the west. Coming up, a bit of sunshine on the way for your Friday, but tracking a low pressure system on Saturday. It could impact the Santa Claus parade, so you might need to bring your umbrella. I'll take you through the extended forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Julie. The Prime Minister laid out his second series of so-called nation-building projects today. The 6 initiatives announced are focused primarily on mining and energy. None are in southwestern Ontario. With more, here's Mike Lecouture.
They are part of nation-building strategies to transform our economies.
The Prime Minister says the transformation is necessary because it's estimated U.S. tariffs and the accompanying uncertainty will cost the Canadian government $50 billion. It's why one of the projects supported by the federal government is a BC liquefied natural gas facility.
Silisms will become Canada's second largest LNG facility with a capacity to export 12 million tons of LNG every year to new markets.
In addition to that facility, the second round of projects includes a hydroelectric development project in Iqaluit, the Sisson Mine project in New Brunswick, the Crawford Nickel Mine project in northern Ontario, the North Coast Transmission Line in northwestern BC, and the Nouveau Monde Graphite Mine north of Montreal. All of them at various stages of development. And the head of the Major Projects Office says her role will be to speed up the process.
Our job is all about making sure that people get across the line, get everything they need to get built on time and on budget.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says the new federal office is part of the problem.
He's created yet another bureaucracy, a new bureaucratic hurdle for miners and oil and gas enterprises and other resource companies to jump through in order to get anything approved.
While the goal is to make Canada less reliant on trade with the U.S., some researchers say governments need to look beyond the current trade issues.
We need to think about what's going to happen with that land after mining's finished. What post-mining land uses could be secured there.
In addition to the 6 projects, the federal office will implement a strategy to improve infrastructure in an area between BC and Yukon, also known as the Northwest Critical Conservation Corridor. Mike Lecouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Union leaders representing workers at the CAMI assembly plant in Ingersoll say they're prepared to take over the facility. As Brian Bicknell reports, it's the latest union tactic to keep their plant from closing.
In its latest update, the union representing workers at the CAMI Bright Drop electric vehicle plant in Ingersoll says it's prepared to take drastic action in its bid to keep the plant open. Unifor Local 88 plant chair Mike Van Bokel said, "We have made our position with the company crystal clear. Nothing comes in and nothing goes out. If they try to remove even one single thing from the plant, we are ready to take over. We are not kidding."
When you see a union openly opining to the media that they are willing to block entrance into the building, they might know something that you and I don't know right now, and that's concerning.
Mike Tucker is a business and economics professor at Fanshawe College. He says the latest activity between GM and Unifor does not bode well for the plant's future.
Was some concern by the union that they may be removing some of this brand new machinery and equipment and maybe employing it elsewhere. And that's where we start to see stories that they're going to try and make that difficult.
The comments from Unifor follow a meeting in Ingersoll this week involving the union, Mayor Brian Petrie, and Industry Minister Melanie Joly. According to the update, Joly expressed support and a willingness to engage with the issues facing CAMI. Mayor Petrie says he's glad talks are still ongoing, but he has some concerns.
I certainly don't want anything bad to happen in our community or anything like that. So you want to make sure that people are going home safe at night. And so my hope is that the negotiations and the talking provides a good outcome, and it doesn't need to come to anything.
In 2021, the plant was retooled to make EVs. That cost about $2 billion, with $500 million coming from Canadian and Ontario taxpayers. Last month, the GM announced it was stopping production of the Bright Drop due to low customer demand. On October 23rd, Joly gave GM 15 days to provide plans for the next steps for the plant. So far, no updates.
If the plan is no longer to exist here, I think there's a further discussion of, well, let's talk about the investment money that was just put in. In just my opinion, this does not look good. This looks like it could be the end.
Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
The provincial government is establishing what's being called student and family support offices at the 5 school boards they've taken over, which includes the Thames Valley School Board. Government officials say those offices will open in January, described as making the education system more responsive and accessible for families. The rest of Ontario's school boards are expected to establish a support office by next September. The opposition leader called out the province's education minister, saying the government has no actual plan.
Like everything else with this minister, he is never clear about what his actual plan is. You know, he acts impulsively, removes trustees who have, local accountability to the public, and then doesn't replace them with anything else, and then wonders why everybody out there is unhappy, why parents can't get the answers they need suddenly, and he doesn't have a plan. And I don't know what his proposal is going to do, and I don't know how much it will cost, but you can be darn sure that we'll be asking those questions.
London police are looking for public feedback on their open-air drug use strategy. They say this is a follow-up to a survey completed back in April. Police say they're looking for feedback from residents and business owners in the downtown and Old East Village areas. It's an anonymous survey which can be filled out on the London Police website. Nurse practitioners at London Health Sciences Centre are helping cancer patients get care faster with a more personal touch. Rita Ismail has more on the roles that these advanced clinicians play and how it's changing treatment.
Inside the Verspeten Family Cancer Center, nurse practitioners are changing the way cancer care is delivered, making it more accessible, efficient, and compassionate.
Nurse practitioners are an essential part of our cancer care team, specifically in genitourinary oncology. They're able to see patients sooner. They can address their concerns and questions and answers.
By working alongside oncologists, nurse practitioners, or NPs, are helping reduce wait times and improve continuity of care. In just 1 year, 2 NPs at the center managed nearly 1,000 patient visits, saving the equivalent of 62 clinical days.
There's a lot of positive feedback from patients. Patients really enjoy the discussions that we have about what does their PSA mean? What is the purpose of these treatments? The side effects they're experiencing, why I'm experiencing these side effects. So different aspects of the disease and the side effects of the treatment of the disease is the main focus. So patients appreciate that dialogue.
The number of nurse practitioners at the center has grown from 3 to 13 since 2017, a reflection of their expanding role across multiple cancer types, including prostate, breast, and lung cancers.
We get to know people and what they've been through. Can usually get into some deeper conversations about what their cancer means to them and where things are going. So kind of not afraid to broach those more sensitive subjects about end of life even, once you've kind of gotten to know somebody.
With 1 in 2 Canadians expected to face a cancer diagnosis, oncologists say expanding MP-led clinics is critical to meeting growing demand.
Now our clinics are full. We could probably take more gentlemen with prostate cancer, but there's just no space.
LHSC says the collaboration helps ensure every patient receives timely, compassionate, and expert care through every step of their cancer journey. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
Officials with the Boys and Girls Club of London say the organization faces a financial shortfall just ahead of its 70th anniversary. As Sean Irvin reports, they're turning to the community for support to keep their services going.
This building has transformed the life paths of thousands of Londoners. Olympic gold medalist Damian Warner is just one example. As a self-described small and unathletic boy, he came to the Boys and Girls Club on a bus from London's Northeast End. Inside its gym, a spark ignited.
I don't think I touched the ball one time, but I had a blast.
Warner has never forgotten his many trips to the BGC. It gave him the confidence to later excel in track and field.
Without that, who knows where I would have been.
It is the reason Warner is lending his name to the club as it approaches its 70th anniversary next year. The BGC needs his help.
Because the reality is, we need to get funding from somewhere.
The club faces a funding shortfall in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's partly due to the pressures on its supporters, including municipal, provincial, and federal governments, as well as charities like the United Way.
It's because we depend on that support. We depend on that donor, on that partner.
To raise funds, a 70th anniversary capital campaign will soon be underway. Over 3 years, the BGC hopes to raise $3 million. One of the greatest cost pressures facing the club is transportation. They need a fleet of 4 new buses.
We provide 40,000 rides for seniors, and plus additional 20,000 rides a year for the children.
Children like Yusuf, who've been coming to the BGC for 10 years. Now a teenager, he speaks passionately about the need to support youth programs.
Because when you give a young person an opportunity, you're not just changing their day, you're changing their life.
But it is not just children the BGC supports.
We are the only BGC that has a seniors club.
Andrew Plumridge is part of a growing group of seniors taking part in daily activities. Already grateful to club staff for saving his life in a 2018 medical incident, he has pledged to be a giver to the campaign in whatever way he can.
I cannot begin to tell you how much I appreciate this place.
In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
Coming up, a Swedish sales pitch. Could Canada's military assets soon include Scandinavian fighter jets? Plus, Ontario families speaking out, accusing a daycare staff member of assaulting their child.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvlondon.ca, your home for news.
It's time to take off with the Dream Lottery. Early bird deadline, midnight tonight. Your chance at 31 days of getaways every day in the month of December. Your choice between an amazing getaway or take the cash. But best part of all, you'll be in for the final draw. A chance at 3 grand prizes, 2 gorgeous dream homes here in London. Each come with $100,000 or the grand prize of $1 million if you choose to take the cash. I am joined by Max Off from West Haven homes. Max, why was it important for West Haven to team up with the Dream Lottery this time around?
Well, my wife and I were both born in London hospitals. All my kids were born in London hospitals. They do so much good, and it's been great to be part of that.
And it's so good to support them, right? And hey, you may win a great prize, but not if you don't have a ticket. Midnight tonight is the deadline for that early bird draw. Go to dreamitwinit.ca, get your ticket. Good luck.
Welcome back. Swedish officials are pitching a military deal for Canada, which they say could bring thousands of manufacturing jobs. They're hoping we'll buy their fighter jets as the federal government ramps up our overall defense spending. With more, here's Geneviève Beauchemin.
The company that makes the Gripen has told CTV News that 10,000 manufacturing and research jobs could land in Canada if Ottawa adds the Swedish fighter jet to its military fleet. The president and CEO of Saab, Mikael Johansson, confirmed he's talked with Ottawa about making Gripens in Canada. He's also met with companies including Bombardier, CAE and IMP in Nova Scotia.
It's important for Canada to have sovereign capability in Canada to do their own upgrades, to build parts of it, to do final assembly and tests. We, as Saab, we are prepared to do that technology transfer to Canada and support that build-up.
This would be contingent, of course, on Canada adding the Gripen to its military fleet. That technology transfer could see the first Canadian-made Gripen fly off the assembly line within 3 to 5 years. It could also lead to the building of a new facility, a hub of sorts, where jets could be made not just for Canada, but other nations, including Ukraine.
It makes sense to have a big footprint in Canada together with Canadian industry. So it's absolutely a benefit for us to do that.
Canada has already committed to buying made in the U.S. F-35s with an option to scale up to 88. But Prime Minister Mark Carney ordered a review of the purchase amid growing trade tensions with the neighbours to the south. A decision on whether to have a dual fleet of F-35s and Gripens has been up in the air since. A large delegation from Sweden, led by the King and Queen of this country here, is headed to Canada next week with the aim of strengthening ties. Johansson is also making the trip, which is making a stop at Bombardier.
We are focusing quite heavily to make sure that Canada has all the information they need for the moment. And then it's up to Canada to decide.
There's no word as to just when a decision could be announced. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Stockholm.
Officials with Canada's spy service say China and Russia have significant interest in the Arctic, accusing them of spying on governments and businesses developing the region.
Non-Arctic states, including the People's Republic of China, seek to gain a strategic and economic foothold in the region. Russia, an Arctic state with a significant military presence in the region, remains unpredictable and aggressive.
The Canadian Security Intelligence Service Director detailed the threats facing Canada in a speech today. He says CSIS has shared information with Inuit and territorial governments, helping them consider national security when exploring partnerships with foreign companies and investors. Staff at a daycare in Barrie say they're reviewing allegations accusing one of their educators of assaulting children in their care. At least 2 families say their kids were sprayed with a cleaning solution, leading to a child services investigation. With more, here's Adrian Gobriel.
When parents send their children to daycare, the minimum expectation is that they'll be kept safe. Well, 2 families whose young ones went to Bright Path Childcare here in Barrie, Ontario, say that wasn't the case. On August 6th, Christina and Jeff Pedano say their 4-year-old daughter shared a troubling story that led to an investigation by a local child services agency.
She told me that, I was sprayed in the face with a spray bottle and I was pinched in the face. So I started to ask her a bit more questions. Was it an accident? Was it on purpose? Did it happen when he was cleaning something? Or she said, no, I was misbehaving during nap time.
I was upset and I was like, okay, let's make sure that we understand what's actually happening. So we had a conversation with the director and she shared that the individual was already on a safe work plan. So I was flabbergasted. I was like, what?
You learned that there was another family. There was another child.
Yeah, and we had no idea, no idea at all.
Children's services in this region have declined to share the findings of their investigation publicly, something the family believes puts other kids at risk. As of this morning, families we've spoken with believe that the childcare worker in question was on a paid leave. Following an email by CTV National News, we've now confirmed that the employee in question has had their employment terminated by BrightPath.
Adrian Gabriel, CTV News.
On the desk with Julie Atchison now. And Julie, obviously we started off with a pretty interesting start to the week weather-wise. We're ending it, though, pretty nicely.
Yeah, we've had some sunshine today, some breaks. We did have some showers areas to the north coming off Lake Huron. But all in all, as we head into your Friday, the showers diminish in Midwestern Ontario, and we have some beautiful weather on the way to wrap up the week. We hit a high today of 7 degrees, so that's right around where we should be for this time of year. Satellite radar still showing the cloud cover areas off to the northeast of London, and still some flakes of snow mixing in. The air in the upper atmosphere, of course, this time of year is quite cool, and it materializes, has some lake effect showers and some mixed precipitation at the surface. Now, we are under the influence of high pressure, and that high will continue to build. There's a warm front, though, just off to the west, and that warm front will slowly start to edge in as we head toward the weekend. It'll push some warmer air in. So by Saturday, we're looking at double-digit temperatures. But with the warm air coming in Saturday, also the opportunity for some showers to move in. Now, earlier in the week, forecast models indicated the rain arriving Saturday night. It could arrive a bit earlier in the day. So I had mentioned the Santa Claus Parade downtown London coming up this weekend. If you are planning to head out to that, you might want to pack your umbrella. We could see some rain arrive a bit earlier now on Saturday. So what happens overnight? The area of high pressure drifts off to the east. Skies go partly cloudy, and that will shut down the lake effect showers. Most of the activity, there'll be no strong westerly flow over the lake. The winds become fairly light overnight. Partly cloudy conditions allow the temperatures to drop off as we see those breaks in the cloud. Will dip down anywhere between -2 and the freezing mark with some milder temperatures along the lake shore. Now let's take a look at what's happening across the country. Western Canada, we are seeing some warmer air return. We do have a bit of a ridge building, and then we have the jet stream dropping down over the Great Lakes. But the cold air remains bottled up in through Nunavut in the Northwest Territories, and you can see that by the color grid of the deeper blues. This is the heights map, so this is the upper air pattern, and you can see it's starting to ride high, and then that jet stream drops right over the Great Lakes. So as we head into the weekend, that will impact our weekend forecast because it will allow this next weather system to move right into the Great Lakes. So going out 48 hours, tomorrow will be nice and quiet through the day, and then overcast conditions develop on Saturday, and then here comes the Saturday system as we head into the afternoon. Now it looks to really fire up as it moves east of London, but we will have some showers arriving Saturday. It's just the timing that we're looking at right now. So your Friday forecast, a mix of sun and cloud by afternoon. The high 7 degrees and winds will be light. Peaks of sunshine to start your day. 13 degrees on Saturday, so some double-digit temperatures. So with the showers comes some nice warm air. Most of the rain should end by Sunday morning, and then we have a 40% chance of some lake effect showers. So this is not as widespread as the Saturday rainfall, and that probability of 40% may be a bit low in terms of this weather system coming in. Mix of sun and cloud on Monday, 7 degrees, 5 on Tuesday, 7 degrees with a chance of a rain-snow mix as we head into Wednesday, and 7 degrees as we wrap up the week. And again, 7 to 8 degrees, right where we should be for this time of year. Today was a perfect, typical November day, even with the off-lake showers in through Midwestern Ontario. Sunshine to end the week, gorgeous conditions across the area. Daytime high coming in at 8 degrees. We'll hit 10 degrees on Saturday with rain developing in the afternoon into the evening, and then the lake effect showers will linger. Possibility of some mixed precipitation depending on the timing, Carlyle, as we dip down between 1 and the freezing mark. Typical of this time of year, of course, as the temperatures drop off, that off-lake showers turn to off-lake flurries. But we have none of that in the forecast for your Friday, and the rain should hold off until Saturday afternoon.
All right, Julie, thanks very much. Still ahead, the market hit, forcing an American distiller to move production north to Canada.
Christmas is less than 50 days away, and we want to help you out with some major shopping ahead of the holidays.
A $200 Shoppers Drug Mart gift card. We got it for you in Prize Town tomorrow morning at 7:10.
Good luck.
An American liquor producer is moving operations north of the border after a sharp drop in sales.
As of March, when this tariff war broke out, we got pulled off the shelves in many of the provinces of Canada. And that was obviously a problem for us, and one we were anxious to solve. And due to the uncertainties, we started to explore the opportunity to produce in Canada. We looked at 19 different plants where we might produce. We ended up narrowing it down to 3 and ultimately chose Station 22 in Montreal to produce our products for the Canadian market.
According to the Sourpuss CEO, the brand lost virtually all of its business in Canada once American products were cleared off Provincial alcohol retail shelves. He says out of the roughly 1 million bottles they sold last year, about 98% were sold in Canada. The Minnesota-based company is now launching a production facility for its raspberry flavor in Montreal. A man in the Toronto area is warning others to keep an eye on the gas pump meter the next time they're filling up. As Pat Foran reports, his meter kept running even though there wasn't any fuel dispensing.
It's something many of us have to do every week, stop to fuel up at a gas station. In mid-August, Sergei Alexandrov of Vaughan says he was buying fuel when something strange happened.
As I was taking out the pump, the numbers kept running on the meter without any gas being dispensed. I caught that on video.
Holding his phone in one hand and the gas pump nozzle in the other, it clearly shows the liter and dollar amount continue to increase even though no fuel was being dispensed.
It was a worrying situation because the meter kept running and it's like as if I'm being scammed out of my money. So the first thing going through my head, oh my gosh, I need to record this because nobody's going to believe me.
Alexandrov says he was unable to get answers from the gas station as to what happened. After 2 months of questioning customer service, he was offered a gift card and a refund of his gas purchase. He feels he was overcharged less than 50 cents, but is concerned it may have happened to other customers as well.
But what was going through my mind is all the people that pumped the gas before me, how many extra overcharge did they collect from that?
It's clear that the machine is malfunctioned. And machines don't normally do that, but when they do, they can make awfully big mistakes.
Gas expert Dan McTagg says he doesn't suspect foul play or tampering. It says it appears the gas pump had a mechanical failure. He says pumps are monitored for accuracy and that something like this happening is very rare.
But they are state of the art and they don't normally make mistakes.
When CTV News reached out to Petro-Canada, its parent company, Suncor said, "We worked to resolve the issue as soon as it was brought to our attention, and the pump was taken out of service immediately for maintenance. We regularly inspect our on-site equipment, including pumps, to ensure everything is in working order." Alexandrov says he just wanted a straight answer.
I just want to make sure that nobody else gets affected by this.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
A new training program is producing more ready-to-work graduates than expected, preparing for jobs in southwestern Ontario's growing battery sector. Bob Belichico reports.
That's the kind of impact this program is having. It's opening doors for people.
Windsor-Essex is building more than just batteries. The Battery Boost program is building a workforce that powers the growth of the Nexstar battery plant.
For us, it was how do we help train the future workforce that will take these amazing new opportunities and jobs in battery manufacturing.
The Battery Boost initiative was launched last December with the help of $3.8 million from the federal government. The first cohort started in February with the goal of training 400 participants before March of 2026. So far, 408 have been successfully trained.
As we continue to hire more and more people, this is a kind of instrumental process we need to go through to ensure that people are really ready for these new industries.
99% of the participants trained had no previous battery technician experience. Out of 408, all but 11 have landed entry-level jobs at Nexstar.
A lot of them have been highly well trained, and a lot of them have seen, promotions very, very early on in their career.
Training included work in the virtual reality cave at Invest Windsor-Essex. The virtual system immersed students into a workplace to prepare them for their job while being in a safe environment.
If you were across the globe and you wanted to train with another team globally, you can certainly do so. So that's what the technology allows. It allows real-time, zero latency training to be able to exist.
The Battery Boost program shows how virtual reality technology can deliver real results and highlights how it can benefit other sectors across the region and strengthen the local economy.
So agriculture, and I say it in the way of also because of the automation and new technology that's being built into the agricultural sector. We also work within the energy industry as well too.
I think we're just scratching the surface on the opportunities that exist with this type of training.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
Canada's main stock index was weighed down by losses in technology stocks. The TSX down 574 points. In New York, the Dow fell nearly 800. The Nasdaq dropped 536. The Canadian dollar down 0.06 cents. On commodity markets, gold lost $19 an ounce and oil gained 20 cents a barrel. When we return, new Canadian research linking changes in speech to early dementia detection. Welcome back. Brain researchers in Toronto are looking at speech patterns and whether they may offer any indication of future cognitive issues. Specifically, the way people talk could lead to earlier detection of diseases like dementia. Pauline Chan reports.
How was that new movie you saw last night? It was, sorry, what was I saying? Right, yes. The movie, it was good. The one with the actor, what's his name? You know, this is an example of the kind of conversation being analyzed by the researchers. The speaker struggles to find the right words.
So one thing is just speech rate. People slow down, and there's also pausing and fillers like and putting all that together, it turns out to be quite a sensitive index of mental capacity.
The study is one of the first to show a direct link between casual speech patterns and essential cognitive functions. More than 200 adult participants were asked to describe complex pictures while also completing standard tests of executive function. Baycrest senior scientist Jed Melser used AI to help analyze recordings of what they said.
We're very interested in speech as a marker of cognitive health because there are a lot of applications for which we want to study cognitive decline.
Unlike drug testing, which is difficult to repeat frequently over time, he says
speech is a promising alternative because it's sensitive to changes in brain health.
Researchers hope this will eventually become an easy and accurate way to track cognitive decline in both normal aging as well as diseases like dementia.
People often ask me, should I do crossword puzzles? Should I learn a language? And I say those things help, but not nearly as much as a bit of physical exercise. That's probably the number one thing you can do for your brain.
Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Fraud experts are preaching vigilance to avoid falling victim to the increasingly sophisticated scams using new technology to gain victims' trust. With more on the best ways to protect yourself and your money, here's Stephanie Sikos.
It doesn't matter what time of year it is, scammers are always lurking.
On November 7th, our investigators from the fraud unit arrested a man in relation to ongoing grandparent scam investigation. So between May and June of 2025, there's been 5 incidents.
According to Halifax Regional Police, this case specifically targeted seniors.
Nowadays, scammers are getting more creative in how they scam the victims. Spoofing numbers is one way. So you'll receive a phone call and you'll recognize the number, so you'll think nothing of it.
With the rise in AI, scams are becoming more sophisticated.
We've got everything from deep fake videos to deep fake voices to fully cloned and manipulated websites that look exactly like your trusted financial institution, your utility, your favorite shopping site, you name it. It is almost impossible for the average person working quickly to distinguish what's real versus what's fraud online today.
It may sound simple, but New Brunswick-based cybersecurity expert David Shipley says if a deal sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Leaning into our emotional intelligence, that gut instinct, can cut down our risks by almost as much as half. So using emotional intelligence is proven to help in that. Giving yourself time, not rushing, not multitasking, is also really important.
With the holidays approaching, just be very mindful of what information you're sharing. Be mindful of your bank statements. Whenever you make a purchase, maybe go back and review your bank statements after.
Officials say it's important to stay vigilant all year round.
Scams are always changing. They're always coming up with new ways to take someone's money.
Stephanie Sikos, CTV News, Halifax.
Welcome to the London List. I'm Rita Ismail, and I'm joined by KP from Mornings on Virgin Radio. KP,
Lots happening this weekend. Let's kick things off with the Knights.
Yeah, we got the London Knights taking on the Owen Sound Attack. That's happening at Canada Life Place Friday night, 7 o'clock. You know the deal. It's going to be a whole lot of fun, so bust out the green.
Yes, for sure. And of course, we have a PD day for our little ones coming up on Friday the 14th. And I'm always trying to figure out what to do with them.
Honestly, and there are so many fun little festive things to do. One happening at Heeman specifically on Friday for the PD day. You go and you decorate a wax amaryllis bulb. These are really cool flowers, by the way, if you've never seen them. They're really popular over the holidays. They're really great gifts, but they can actually decorate them with like paint pens, and then they bloom when you still see the base. It's very, very cool. So a really fun DIY workshop for the kiddos to get them, you know, interested in flowers and agriculture, and again, something to do that's nice and festive as well.
Yeah, my daughter would love that. She loves all art and paint.
It's so fun.
It's perfect. With the theme of Christmas, we have the first Santa Claus parade happening this weekend.
We do, and it's going to be a big one downtown London. It's the same route as other years. You can go online and actually find that route, but don't forget it is in support of the London Food Bank. So bring those non-perishable food items. They have elves out collecting, and I always love you get candy canes, and like last year we had packets of gravy. The clubhouse was there giving away. I know, tons of gravy. I had so much turkey gravy, but it was great. Like you get some really cool, neat items, and of course it just feels good to give back as well. So check that out, and hopefully I think we're going to have a mild Santa Claus parade. I hope.
It's just a good idea to always bundle up, right?
Exactly,
especially spending that much time outdoors. It should be a great time, though. And finally, something for all those music lovers.
Yeah, we've got Blue Rodeo, and that's their 40th anniversary tour. It's their show happening Saturday night at Canada Life Place. The tickets are still available for that one as well. Going to be a really good show and really nostalgic, so definitely check that out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kelly. That's it for this week's London List.
3, 2, 1.
Is getaway season or cash in the bank with the early bird deadline for the Dream Lottery? Get your ticket by midnight tonight to be in for 31 days of getaways throughout the month of December. Your choice between a gorgeous vacation or cash in the bank. And then you're in for all final draws, a choice between 2 gorgeous dream homes. Each comes with $100,000 cash, or take the cash, $1 million. Can you imagine being a millionaire just before Christmas, Susan? I'm here with designer Susan, and what makes these dream homes so special, aside from the fact that they're beautiful?
Well, you know, working with West Haven Homes is always a privilege, and the opportunity to turn these houses into dream homes for London hospitals is an absolute honor.
It's a great excuse to support the amazing work that our hospitals do every day. You may win an awesome prize, $1 million before Christmas. Get your ticket by midnight tonight. Good luck.
Skies clear overnight and the temperature drops down to the freezing mark. Thank you to Diane for this photo. This was our first snowfall of the season in London. Definitely packing a punch. As we head into the weekend, rain on the way, not snow. It could arrive as early as a Friday afternoon. The greatest chance for rain coming as we head into Friday night.
Canada's outgoing ambassador to the UN delivered his final speech today, nearing the end of his 5-year term.
Some things are information. Some things are misinformation. Some things are facts. Some things are lies. And I've tried to make a point from this podium and in other statements and ways of acting in this assembly to say we should not be afraid to tell things as they are and to be as clear as we can in expressing our differences respectfully, in a mode of civility, but at least having the courage to say these things have to be said.
Bob Rae was Ontario's NDP premier from 1990 to 1995 and later served as the interim federal Liberal leader from 2011 to 2013. He's been Canada's ambassador to the UN since 2020. President Donald Trump is accusing House Democrats of a smear campaign after they released a new group of private emails from Jeffrey Epstein. The president says they prove nothing. As Joy Malbon reports, there's now a push to release all the emails.
In newly released emails, convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein wrote a New York Times reporter in 2015, suggesting he might have dirt on Donald Trump. Would you like photos of Donald and girls in bikinis in my kitchen? And in 2019, when President Trump was running for re-election, Epstein wrote author Michael Wolff, alleging Trump knew about Epstein's criminal behavior. He wrote, "Of course he knew about the girls," and he asked Ghislaine to stop. Epstein also confirmed in an email the former Prince Andrew was photographed with one of Epstein's victims, the late Virginia Giuffre, contradicting Andrew's claim that he never met her.
Categorically, I don't remember meeting her at all.
President Trump has denied all allegations of wrongdoing, but his administration continues to push back against releasing the Justice Department's case files, FBI investigations, names, and the scope of Epstein's crimes. Abuse survivors pleading for the truth to come out.
Just rip the Band-Aid off all at once, give the public what they need, and give us what we need, which is transparency. The other survivors, my survivor sisters, they're not going away.
In Washington, the politics are shifting. More Republicans now are joining Democrats demanding full public disclosure of Epstein's crimes.
I would remind my colleagues that this vote is going to be on your record for longer than Trump is going to be president.
The pressure on this White House is not letting up. Democrats now have the numbers to force a vote next week that could lead to the full release of the Epstein files. Joy Melvin, CTV News, Washington.
Today is the 10th anniversary of the 2015 Paris terror attacks. The Islamic State militant group took responsibility for the coordinated attacks in the French capital, killing 132 people and injuring hundreds more. The French president led a series of tributes today alongside the Paris mayor.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest on the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
Finally tonight, London's Santa Claus Parade is this weekend, a tradition dating back decades. With more on this year's edition, here's Nick Paparella.
It has been an annual rite of Christmas for 69 years. The London Santa Claus Parade has delighted young and old since 1956, and this Saturday night will be no different. Organizer Sean Merton is excited to put on a show.
There's some incredible stuff. There's one float that has over 5,000 lights on it, and a couple other like that, and loud music, and it's just going to be, it's going to be rocking the whole parade route all the way down. That's for sure.
This year's parade will be bigger than previous when it comes to floats and bands. The theme is Santa's Rockin' Wonderland.
It's bigger than last year. There's 12 more entries than last year. So there's 43 entries. There's 5 bands that are booked to be there. There's 4 or 5 dance groups, and Western cheerleaders are back again. So, all that kind of stuff is really exciting, and it brings a lot of entertainment.
Christmas is a time of giving, so if you're attending the parade, you can help out charities like the London Food Bank in more ways than one.
And don't forget to bring your food for the food bank and toonies for the toonie toss, because it goes to the charities and everything like that.
If you're thinking of coming out to the parade, the route is the same as last year. It starts here at 6 o'clock at Dundas in Ontario, heads west down Dundas, and wraps up about an hour and 15 minutes later at Rideout Street.
We always try to find stuff that's family oriented, and that's our goal. So, and as I tell everybody, come out. It's all about having fun, exciting. The kids will love it. You'll love it. When you get down the parade route, you see all those smiling faces and all the kids and all the people. It's always worth it every time, that's for sure.
Nick Paparella, CTV News.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news after Thursday night football. Bye for now.